Regrettably, Neil, that's the truth. That's one of the biggest frustrations that Iraq war veterans like me face ever since we've been home. You know, I've been in some pretty volatile areas of Iraq when I was serving there for a year in the Army. Nothing affected my ability to sleep when I got home, though. Like the media's coverage on what's happening there. I felt like thinking, is that the country I just left? I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not daisies and tambourines in Iraq, but for every bad story that we're force-fed night after night on television or read every day in the paper in the New York Times, there are 99 heartwarming stories about what a blessing the U.S. troops are to the people in Iraq. You know,
but clearly these photographs, Sergeant, elicited totally different reaction. And now that we learned that a lot of them are coming from the same photographer who himself is employed by a French agency, you begin to wonder, don't you?
Sure. I mean, when I look at that woman in that New York Times photo, I'm reminded of so many women that came up to me when I was in uniform in places like Baghdad or Al-Ramadi or Al-Assad, come up and kiss the United States flag stitched on my shoulder of my Army uniform saying, "Thank you, America," in their best English. So when I look at that photo, first of all, if you look at the troops that are sitting there in the living room, all of their muzzles are pointed down. They're not doing anything overtly aggressive. If anything, you have one troop seated down. One's not even holding a weapon. But the most interesting observation I made, because I've been in situations like this, is the male holding what appears to be his woman. If you look on his left wrist, that looks like what was a plastic flexi cuff, a temporary handcuff that we often use. It's a temporary handcuff to restrain detainees. Evidently, that's been cut off because it looks to me like these troops let this person go home, returned him home, realized that this person is probably innocent or was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. And I have a feeling that these troops are just bringing him home to a very relieved mom.
But Sergeant, you know, it's not so much that we see these images. I don't even mind that. I think what's causing some consternation in the military is that these are the only images, certainly that Americans are subjected to. I don't see a similar zeal on the part of a number of major U.S. newspapers to show good stuff, you know, either helping kids, building schools, building bridges, building hospitals, the kind of stuff that I know guys like you were and are doing.
That's why my service in Iraq was just one of the most gratifying experiences of my life. I got to serve for 1 year there. Neil, when I tell you those children in Iraq love us, I was treated like a movie star. I don't know how many autographs I had to sign for these kids, and I don't know how many US dollar bills I pulled out of my pocket as a little gift to these kids. And I was the recipient of many kisses on the cheek by children saying shukran, shukran, thank you in Arabic. That's the legacy we're going to leave in Iraq.
Let me ask you, I apologize, we have a bit of a delay here, so I keep jumping on you, but when you see the type of thing that the media foists on the public as being all-knowing news and solely that impression, how does it make those kids feel that you were helping out in Iraq, and how does it make their families feel? What is the public perception of Americans? Is it changed as a result of these images?
Well, you got to realize that the prevailing demographic in Iraq is used to 30 years of Saddam, used to brutality. And what we're doing in Iraq runs contrary to 100 years of Muslim culture. The promise for me in Iraq lies with the children. The problem is the gullible people in Iraq with nothing better to do know that our television cameras are looking for bloodshed and sensationalism, and you know they wait for the cameras to come by before they detonate that roadside bomb or that suicide bomber pulls a cord and detonates himself. They're looking for the shock value because they know they're going to be on Al Jazeera and on American cable news all over the world that night, and that's exactly what they're looking for because of the way we cover it.
All right. Well, we'll make sure we cover some of those good images. Sergeant, thank you very much. Very good seeing you. Thank you for all you've done.
Thank you.
All right, Sergeant.